The MLB season is flying. It's crazy to think that the Philadelphia Phillies have already played more than half of their games in 2025. The All-Star break is rapidly approaching. They have 6 more games. They're going out west for a 6-game road trip. First, starting tonight against the San Francisco Giants for 3 games. Then they have an off day Thursday, and then they have a 3-game series in San Diego against the San Diego Padres. And then all of a sudden, it is the All-Star break. And then the Phillies are into the second half of the season, the playoff push, and right where you want to be, trying to make a World Series championship pursuit, which is exactly what this team is trying to do. The Phillies are winners yesterday in Sunday's ball game. They won that series finale against the Cincinnati Reds 3-1. They won that series 2-1 overall. And thanks in large part, especially in yesterday's game, to Zack Wheeler. He was incredible. We'll get right into that in just a moment. Welcome into Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Hennelly. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content. As I said, Zack Wheeler, every time he takes the mound for the Phillies, you expect nothing less than just pure dominance. And that was definitely the case Sunday against the Reds, Sunday afternoon. He pitched an absolute gem in that series finale 3-1 win. He threw a complete game. He allowed just one hit, and that one hit, unfortunately for Zack Wheeler, was a solo home run to the former Phil, Austin Hayes. So one mistake by Zack Wheeler costed him pretty much a no-hitter, perfect game. But regardless, incredible performance by Zack Wheeler. Obviously, he went those 9 innings, allowed just that one hit, which is a solo home run, 0 walks, 12 strikeouts, and he picked up the win. It was his first complete game that he pitched since 2021. So just great stuff by Zack Wheeler. It doesn't happen all the time, obviously, in today's day and age in Major League Baseball. He was the first Phillies pitcher since at least 1901. Yes, 1901 to record 12 strikeouts, allow no walks, and allow fewer than 2 hits in a game. As I said, since at least 1901. So just, like I said, incredible performance by the Phillies ace. He is having, honestly, the best season of his career so far here in 2025 with the Phillies. He is 9-3 with a 2.17 ERA. He has 148 strikeouts through his first 18 starts in 2025 and has 148 strikeouts in 116 innings pitched. So obviously those strikeouts are just piling up for Zack Wheeler, and it's just great stuff by him. We are incredibly lucky to have a guy like Zack Wheeler in the starting rotation, and you should really just not take it for granted is the word I'm trying to look for. Sorry. Not take it for granted that Zack Wheeler gets to pitch for your favorite team, the Philadelphia Phillies. Obviously, he's getting older. His career is coming to a close within the next few years. So just, go out there and appreciate Zack Wheeler every time he takes the mound, because he's been incredible since the Phillies picked him up a few years back. And he has been one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball since then. And he is having a career year in 2025 for the Phillies. Now, also in that series finale win against the Reds yesterday on Sunday afternoon, Bryson Stott hasn't been having the best season here in 2025 at the plate. Really didn't have a great season last year either at the plate. But through his Phillies career, he has had the knack, for coming up in clutch moments for the Phillies, whether it's late in a ball game, just a normal regular season game, a postseason playoff game. Bryson Stott seems to be able to come through in a lot of clutch moments, and he did that again in that win yesterday against the Reds. The game was tied 1-1 heading into the bottom of the 8th inning, so, getting close to the end of the game, potential extra innings. JT Realmuto, he hit a single in that bottom of the 8th inning, and then Bryson Stott hit a go-ahead 2-run home run, absolutely crushed it 405 feet off that right field scoreboard there, and they gave the Phillies a 3-1 lead, which they ultimately won that game 3-1. Just a great at-bat, great power, great just clutch ability by the Phillies second baseman Bryson Stott. As I said, having a down year at the plate, But hopefully, an at-bat like that, an energizing home run to give your team the lead, a series win, turns this season around as we get into this break. Because the Phillies, with a Bryson Stott going good at the plate, that lineup just gets so much deeper and so much better with him hitting well. So, great stuff by Bryson Stott. Great stuff by Zack Wheeler. Speaking of Zack Wheeler, now after last year in 2024, the Phillies had 8 All-Stars, including 3 All-Star Game starters in Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, and Alec Bohm. They obviously had 5 pitchers in there as well as Zack Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, the former Phil Jeff Hoffman, and Matt Strahm. This year, they have just 2 All-Stars. They were announced yesterday on Sunday. None of them, position players-wise, were named as the starters or made it through the initial voting. But Zack Wheeler, he is obviously an all-star in 2025. He's one of the best pitchers in the National League, if not the best, and one of the best pitchers overall in Major League Baseball this year. And then Kyle Schwarber, the Schwarbarian, he also was named an all-star in 2025. Wheeler, as I said earlier, he is having a career best season with the Phillies. He has a career best 2.17 ERA and 0.84 whip through his first 18 starts this year. He's a National League Cy Young candidate, right up there with Pittsburgh Pirates starter Paul Skeens. It's his 3rd career All-Star selection. All 3 have come with the Phillies, 2 consecutive this year and last year in 2024, as I had mentioned. And then Kyle Schwarber, he has 27 home runs so far in 2025, a large reason why he is an all-star this year. His 27 home runs are the 5th most in Major League Baseball. It's also his 3rd career all-star appearance here, his 2nd with the Phillies. And it did also come out, there was speculation that maybe a guy like him would enter the home run derby during the all-star break, during that week-long festivities. But Kyle Schwarber said he will not participate in the home run derby. He'll be there for the all-star game, but that's about it. Now, if you watched my video the other day, I mentioned how some of the Phillies I believed were snubs from the initial voting for the All-Star game, and I believe that they would have definitely got in as reserves and with the pitchers as well when the full rosters were announced yesterday on Sunday. Zack Wheeler, I said he would definitely make it. Kyle Schwarber had a chance. I didn't know if he'd make it or not. I thought Christopher Sanchez definitely deserved it again. Ranger Suarez deserved it again. Both of them not selected to the All-Star team this year. But I think Trey Turner definitely should have been an All-Star game selection here. If not a starter, definitely a reserve. He is one of the biggest snubs in the entire majors, in my opinion. He's right up there with the best at really the top of every National League category among qualified shortstops this year. But he is not an All-Star. Same with Alec Bohm, having a very good season after a very, very, very rough and slow start to this season for him. Turned it around, one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball for a while now, one of the hottest, most consistent hitters in the Phillies lineup. But Alec Bohm also not an all-star. The Phillies come away with just 2, and Zack Wheeler and Kyle Schwarber, I guess, is better than none. So it gives you something to tune into for that All-Star week, All-Star break, All-Star game, to watch your Phillies represent their team there among the league's best players. Now, as we get into the second half of the season, as we get closer to the July 31st trade deadline, obviously the Phillies are rumored to be buyers, particularly in the reliever market, maybe corner outfields, maybe even center field. We'll see, but definitely looking to upgrade that bullpen, which has been a weakness in 2025. And I had talked about him previously a while ago, but I never really did a full segment on him. Now, that guy who I'm talking about is Washington Nationals closer Kyle Finnegan. Kyle Finnegan has been linked to the Phillies time after time for the past few years, the past couple off seasons, but nothing came, to fruition with that. He's on the Nationals. He's a 33-year-old right-handed pitcher. He was an all-star last year in 2024, had an incredible season with the Nationals, having another great season so far in 2025, was not named to the All-Star game this year. He has a career-best 2.43 ERA so far in 2025. He has 18 saves with the Nationals. He's pitched 28 and a third innings in the ninth inning. So obviously a late inning, high leverage reliever, which is exactly what the Phillies are in the market for. He's pitched 2 scoreless innings in the 8th inning, so obviously most of his work comes in the 9th inning with the Nationals. He's also pitched 3 scoreless innings in extra innings, so all of the runs he has allowed have come in the 9th inning. Really very small sample size in the 8th and extra innings, obviously 5 innings combined, but both scoreless in those innings. So he is a dominant closer, a dominant high leverage late inning reliever. Now, he's not necessarily going to overpower you with his pitches, with his speed, his velocity, but he still does have life to his pitches. He's mostly a 4-seam, split finger kind of pitcher, kind of reliever. He rarely uses a slider, so it's really just that 4-seam and split finger. And he gets the job done there in the late innings for the Nationals. He is going to be a free agent after the season, so it could be just a 1-year rental. Honestly, a couple-month rental because, it's just July. Well, really, depending on when they trade for him. If they do, August, September, and then the playoffs, October-ish, November-ish. So, a guy that the Phillies definitely will be keeping tabs on. Definitely going to have a lot of interest from a lot of reliever-needy teams at the deadline. Kyle Finnegan with the Nationals. Obviously, they are not having a good season in 2025. They are in last place in the National League East. They are a bottom 5 team overall in Major League Baseball so far this year. They just fired their head coach and their general manager yesterday on Sunday. So, a lot of change coming for the Nationals. And at the deadline, they could be selling a guy like Kyle Finnegan, who is going to have a lot of suitors. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. As I said, the Phillies start a big 3-game series against a good Giants team out on the West Coast tonight. Make sure you guys are well rested because obviously California is 3 hours behind the East Coast here. So there's going to be a few late games here on this 6-game road trip out there on the West Coast. A couple day games there, but some 9 o'clock starts, all that kind of stuff. So get some rest, watch the Phils. As always, go Phils.